Alrighty guys, so I'm going to kick this video off in response to the previous video I did on intermittent fasting and whether or not it's right for you. In this video, we're going to go a little bit more in depth on the parameters of fasting and how to regimen them properly, so stick around. Hey guys, Sergio here with another Regain Fitness video where we talk about all things health, fitness, and nutrition related. So if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to get more videos just like this one. In today's video, we're going to be talking about intermittent fasting, and the big question that comes up a lot is, how long should I fast? Alright, so when it comes to intermittent fasting, one of the most commonly used set of parameters for intermittent fasting is a 16 8-hour split. Basically meaning for 16 hours out of the day, you'll be fasting, and for the remaining 8 hours of the day will consist of your feeding window. And the reason why this is so effective, in my opinion, is because it's a pretty effective and safe window for both men and women. And I'll get more into that in just a second. Alright, so let me first start off with explaining why intermittent fasting is so significant and what's happening with your body throughout this process. So typically when you consume food, whatever it is, triggers an insulin response within the body. This insulin is basically going to signal for your cells to stop utilizing fat stores and start utilizing this new source of fuel that you just consumed. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing. This is all good stuff. But let's say we're fasting for purposes of weight loss. Well, if you're not consuming anything, your body's going to hold off on raising those insulin levels, and it's going to basically remain in this fat burning mode, which is ultimately what we want. Alright, so earlier I mentioned the safetiness and effectiveness of fasting, whether you're male or female. And I will say there are some things to consider when it comes down to frequency and duration for fasting. For example, unlike men, the female body has to facilitate more bodily functions and maintain a certain level of nutrients and hormone levels. So for reasons like this, I wouldn't necessarily recommend women fasting for longer than 16 hours. I always recommend that 12 to 16 hour window for their fasting window. However, when it comes to the men out there, fasting anywhere from 16 to 20 hours has been shown to be the most effective. Alright, so now what about frequency? Well, that could be anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week for some people, but this is where I always recommend people start off slow and ease into this process and allow your body to adapt to what's going on. And as you see fit, you can increase that frequency anywhere from 4 to 5 times a week. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend you go any more than that, and it mainly has to do with something called your BMR. Your BMR stands for basal metabolic rate, which is an estimation of the amount of calories that your body would burn if you were to do nothing but rest for a 24-hour period. And this basically represents the amount of calories that your body needs to function, as well as controlling your breathing and pumping your heart and things like that. Alright, so the reason I want to point this out is that if you're consistently creating a calorie deficit in your diet, your body will actually start to adapt to this state of low calories and can actually lower your BMR, making it harder to create that calorie deficit and ultimately lose weight. And that's why I always recommend at least a couple times a week incorporating meals or days where you're eating just at your maintenance level or maybe even slightly above to keep this from happening. Alright, so another question you might run into is, well, what if I want to build muscle, or am I going to lose the muscle mass that I already have by not eating? You know, all this time I thought I was supposed to be consuming more calories and now I'm consuming less, so it doesn't really match up. Well, in one of my other videos I talk about how intermittent fasting actually stimulates human growth hormone and actually increases those levels, promoting more muscle growth. And not only that, but multiple studies have shown time and time again that the breakdown of muscle tissue doesn't even start to begin until anywhere from 48 to 72 hours. So rest assured, your muscles, they're not going anywhere. Alright, so lastly I want to point out is, what are you doing in your fasting window? And the reason this is so important to address is because a lot of times people will ask, can I have this? Can I have that? Can I drink this? Can I drink that? And honestly, the answer is KISS. And that's the reason I want to point this out, is because there's so many things out there that you can incorporate into your fasting window that may or may not kick you out of your fast. But like I said, just keep it simple. Stay hydrated, drink water, add minerals here and there if you need to, but nothing that's going to risk kicking you out of your fast and losing all the benefits of your hard work that you put into that fasting window. So like I said, at the end of the day, just keep it simple. Alrighty guys, so I hope that explains a little more in depth on intermittent fasting and how to regimen it properly. Remember, I am not a doctor. These recommendations are solely based on my research and my experience, as well as what I've seen work well for others. If you're considering intermittent fasting, just be sure to do some research and make sure it's the right thing for your lifestyle. And if you have any questions or need any clarification on the topics that we talked about, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that so you can get more videos just like this one. If you like this video, be sure to leave it a big thumbs up. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.